Hey, what's up, everybody? Paul James here. Give me some ones in the chat box if you can hear me loud and clear. And you should also see Jim's screen. It says how to turn 1 into 100 selling used books. Let me know where you guys are calling in from as well. So I'm actually on vacation for in Florida for the month, and actually into like mid next month. So I'm doing this from my laptop, so my sound may sound a little bit different than usual. But I'm just glad to get away from the Wisconsin winter. You know, it's real nice being here and waking up every day to the shining sun, and it's just great. It doesn't get old. We've got Donald from Atlanta, Ken from Maine. Terry says thanks for holding this webinar today. Awesome. Yeah, for sure, Terry. Thank you for taking time to be here. I appreciate it. I know Jim appreciates it, and you're just going to learn a lot. It's going to be awesome. William from Houston. Keith says lucky. Yeah, very lucky, Keith. Just, very, very thankful to be here. So it's awesome. We got Glenda from Barhead, Alberta. Awesome. Tommy Lee, King of Perugia. Terry from Ontario. Duran from Tampa. Awesome. Very cool. So let me tell you a little bit about our presenter today, Jim Pickens. He purchased my course on Amazon Retail Arbitrage 18 months ago, and he was just telling me about it. That's what got him started into this whole thing, and so awesome, so cool. I'm very proud of what he's done and what he's accomplished, and I'm so glad that I could have some influence over what he's done and stuff. And retail arbitrage is a really cool thing. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with it, basically what it is it's the concept of going and finding something for a good deal. Like, say you go to Walmart and find something on the shelves for a low amount of money on clearance. You look on Amazon and you see if it's selling for more, and then you take that item and you list it on Amazon, and then they sell it for you because they have the traffic, and they give you the profit off of it. They take some fees out, and then they give you the difference. So it's literally hands off. You just take the items that you buy and you send it into them, and they sell it. And such a great business model. So I put out a course on that a while back. Jim purchased it. Within 6 months, I think it was 6 months, he was on track to do 6 figures, which is crazy. So awesome. And then 18 months later now, he's moved into his brand new warehouse. He's hiring employees, which is crazy, just so awesome. And he's sorting books in his warehouse and selling them, and like it says on the screen, you literally can start with very little money, because some of these books you can buy for $1 and you can sell them for $100. And you can start with very low overhead, which is why this business model is so great. So Jim, why don't you come in and say hello to everyone and do a quick sound check to make sure that they can hear you okay?
Yeah, sure. So, can you guys hear me right now?
Give us some threes if you can hear Jim in the chat box. Yeah, lots of threes coming in.
Okay, good. Good. All right. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, Paul said it pretty well. 18 months ago, we started with Paul's course, and I believe it was called Easy Retail Jackpots. And, I looked it over. We had very little money at the time, and it was really appealing to me because it was so appealing, really, because the barrier to entry, right? Like, you didn't need thousands of dollars to do it. You didn't need, just all these things, like, for instance, private label, where you need thousands and thousands of dollars just to get into it. And then it takes months and months just to even think of getting that money back. But you didn't have to do that with this business model. So, we bought it, we dove right in, and we did well, and we were making some money. But then what ended up happening was we got some used books from my uncle, and we sent them in to FBA, and they were selling really well, and we made, a lot of money. But so I'm going to go through a few things with you guys, and then, we're going to keep this pretty short and sweet, to the point. And at the end, you guys can ask questions. So I'm just going to start this up right here. Okay, so just like this slide says, this is going to teach you how to turn $1 into $100, and that's not going to be every book you get, of course, but There will be times where you can even make more than that. I've been to library sales, book sales, things like that. I picked up this one book. It was like a Navy book. I paid $2 for it, and it was a set. So I actually picked up about three or four from the same set, and I sold them one for 300, one for 350, and then I sold another one for 150. And we spent like $2 on each book. I mean, it was insane. And you can do that with used books. It's just one of those things, you know. It's to this day it baffles me because people seem to just they don't give any weight to it. They think they have no value, but it's completely not the case. So to get into this a little bit, so if we rewind 18 months ago, I was pretty much broke, to be honest with you. I mean, I had maybe a couple $100 to my name. I really did not have much. So it was basically me, my wife, and we have a 12-year-old son. So we were living at my wife's house, or my wife's parents' house rather, in one room. We slept, we ate, watched TV, everything in this one room, right? And like I said, I found Paul's course. We got into that. We were making some money with it, but retail arbitrage, it does require a decent amount of money to start up. So what ended up happening was, like I said, we got some books, you know, from my uncle, and you know, we started doing that, and you know, of course at the beginning I didn't really know what I was doing, so I was just sending in a bunch of different books, and not I wasn't really familiar with sales rank and how long things took to sell, but it was really funny because what ended up happening was, you know, even though we weren't, you know, completely efficient and did everything exactly the right way, you know, it almost didn't matter because the profit from the books that did sell was so good that it balanced it out where it almost didn't make a difference. So the books made such a huge profit, it almost didn't even matter. So at that time, you know, we just kept going at it. You know, we did book sales, we went to thrift stores, things like that, and you know, we did really really well. So just to also go into some things about where to find the books, right? So we would do things like Goodwill. I mean, you can go to a place like Goodwill. You can go to, if you guys have Savers in your area. Um, there's different places, Salvation Army. I mean, these are just, I use these as examples because almost every state in the U.S. and even outside of the country has places like thrift stores, right, where you can buy used books. So that's just an obvious place you can go. But, you know, we would go in to a thrift store, let's just say, like $50 in our pocket. And because we had the phone and we had all the software, you know, we could walk out with, you know, $500 in profit, sometimes even more, six, seven, $800. But then, like I said, we discovered book sales. So a lot of these libraries will run book sales. And the book sales, I mean, they could have 10,000 books, 50,000 books. Some of them are really big and have like 200,000 books, right? So we started hitting those, and that's when it got really crazy because we knew like which sections to go to and which books made the most money. So we would walk into those, me and my wife. So at this point, we bought another scanner. So they're not really that expensive. I think the cost of the Bluetooth scanner maybe $75, maybe $100. So we bought one of those. So we had two, and we would stay there for 3 to 4 hours, and we would make by the end of it, I mean, literally 3 to 4 thousand. And I almost feel like I have to like say that again because it's so ridiculous, but it's completely the truth. We would make an obscene amount of money at these book sales. Now, what I want to explain is that you're not going to make $3,000 the second you send it in, right? So that's not how used books work. So I wouldn't want to mislead anybody, but what does happen is you send the books in, and let's say you spent 200 bucks or $200, right? So you send the books in, what happens is they get checked in to the fulfillment center at Amazon, and then they go up for sale. So within that first day, what would end up happening was we would make back our, you know, initial investment of the $200 like within the first like 6 hours of that day. And then anything after that was just profit. So what would happen was you'll say I spent 200 bucks. So the first like 8 hours, okay, that money's made back. Now, as we keep on going, like a week out, okay, now maybe I made $500 profit. Then we go out a whole month, and then, okay, now maybe I'm at $1,500, right? And then you go 3 months in, 6 months in, then at that point, then you've made almost a whole 3 to 4 grand. But the truth is the books sell like all the time. I've got books that I've sent in literally 18 months ago, like when I first started this, and they sell to this day. And you get payouts twice a month from Amazon. It goes right into your bank account. And I'm still selling books, to this day from back then. And it's just great. I mean, it's just a really good business model. It's a smart thing to do when you're getting into Amazon. So I was able to move out of, obviously my wife's parents' house, which was not a great situation. We moved into a $1,100 a month townhouse. Had a great work from home office, and it was just a really big turning point for us because we were finally able to get out on our own and use all that money, to actually, live and do the things we wanted to do. So this is just some screenshots of some of the payouts, that we have gotten from books. So it gives you all the different breakdowns, the orders, and then it shows you some of the refunds, the fees. You could see the fees are very small compared to what the payouts actually were. So this was November of 2015. So you remember I said I started 18 months ago. So you could see if you do kind of the math on that, this is very short into the process when I started doing this. And this is a bi-weekly deposit. So that, almost $4,000, that's 2 weeks. And then go to the next one. I'm just showing this to you guys so you know that this is for real, because I almost feel like I have to prove some of this stuff because it sounds so absurd. This one, we got a deposit of $5,000. This was November 23rd to December 7th. Again, just 2 week period, gets deposited right into your bank account. You subtract a little bit of money for the cost of the books and stuff like that, but I mean, it's almost negligible. I mean, it almost doesn't even make a difference. Another one, $5,338. That was January 2016. And then we had a pretty big one here, and this was December 21st to January 4th. And the reason why this one was almost $16,500 is because Q4 is a really big opportunity for retail arbitrage. So this is where I was kind of combining the information from Paul's course with the book. So actually what I did then was November I stocked up on books, and then December I did what was in Paul's course for the retail arbitrage side. And I did nothing but that in December. And I actually only did it for about 3 weeks. I did it from December 1st to like December 20th. And that was the result from that. I made a ton of money. I mean, I actually made so much in comparison to before that Amazon put a hold on my account to make sure I wasn't doing anything shady because the dollar amount rose so much to what they were used to. So after they did all their checks, I got the money and everything was fine. But here's some individual book sales to show you guys. So this is a book, The Element of Reasoning. This was 2011 published, and this one sold for $27. So these are actual books, actual orders that I've gotten, and so that one is pretty good. We've got one here. It's a Disney book, and it's a pop-up book. Pop-up books are great. Pop-up books will make you a ton of money if you can get them in good condition. Paid $2 for that. Sold it for $59. Another pop-up book underneath here sold for $41.59. Here's another one, The Dog, or How We Found the Bishop's Bird Stump at Last. So really weird stuff, right? So you could see this is the kind of stuff, like if you see it at a store or a thrift store or whatever, I mean, you would walk right by this stuff, and I would too. And the only reason I knew to pick this up and to sell it is because I had this software on the phone, right? So it's the software that's doing all this heavy lifting. We'll get into that. And then the book underneath this sold for 36 bucks. So this is just a couple of book examples, individual items, as opposed to the whole payout. Okay, so these are some screenshots of the app. Okay, so you could see this book right here. It says legal aspects of architecture, engineering. So you could see it's a little bit of a pattern of some of the type of books. You're mainly going after, a certain type of book, like nonfiction, for example. But this one spent $2, sells for over $150. And this is a software. It tells you everything. It tells you the condition of the book. It shows the new listings, FBA prices. It shows you everything. And this one is $1 carpentry book. Turned it into 50 bucks. The one to the right here, low pressure boilers. Again, spent $1, turned it into $83. Okay, so this is just some examples here, and like I said, we've sold books for even higher than that, but I'm not going to show you guys all that kind of stuff because I don't want to give you the wrong idea that that's all you're going to find. But I do, at the same time, I want to show the potential, and I don't want to undercut or underplay what is possible here, because this stuff happens all the time. So all of this is based off of Amazon FBA. So before I go any further, I do want to ask everybody here, I kind of want to get a feel for how many people here know what Amazon FBA is. So if you're familiar with Amazon FBA, can you put a 2 in the chat box? And if you're not, put a 0.
Lots of twos coming in. So 1
Okay.
0, 2 zeros, 3 0. There's a few zeros. Maybe explain what it is, just so people
Okay.
know.
All right, so I'll go over it briefly. I have a slide here actually. So what is Amazon FBA? So it stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. So this is basically what it means. Amazon uses their huge network of fulfillment centers and employees all around the country. They have these huge warehouses everywhere. And they handle all the packing, they handle the shipping, they even handle the customer service. So let's say you buy a bunch of books from a book sale and you have 400 books and it's worth a lot of money, but you don't want to store that stuff in your house, right? You might not even have the room for that. That's what's so great about this model is, you pack it all up, into boxes. You get a UPS account because there's discounted rates with Amazon. You put the boxes outside your house. UPS comes, picks them up. Amazon checks them all in, and they go up for sale. And it's literally that simple. And you don't have to deal with packing items. You don't have to deal with shipping items. You don't even have to deal with the customer service. Sometimes customers might email you. They ask a question about a book. You are in complete right of your right to, refer them to Amazon because they handle all that, right? So it's a huge advantage because all you have to do is focus on sourcing the books. You don't have to focus, because if you can imagine, let's say you have 1,000 books listed, for example, and let's say you get 25 orders one day. I mean, that takes time to package and label and send them out. I mean, it takes time. It takes money. You need the ink for your printer. You don't have to deal with any of that, and that's what's so appealing about this. The other thing that's appealing about FBA, and I think this statistic was actually from a little while ago, so it might even be higher now. The last time I checked, there were over 70,000 people making over 6 figures, and they're all Amazon FBA sellers, right? So this is proven. Like, this is a proven out model that, if you want to make, you know, $80,000, $90,000 a year, even $200,000 a year, you can do it with Amazon FBA, and tens of thousands of people have already done it before you to kind of pave the way. So Amazon FBA, that's kind of what it is. And so in this slide, I kind of want to talk about why, selling used books is pretty much one of the smartest ways to make money with Amazon. So the first reason is that they're everywhere. I mean, they are literally everywhere. You can find them in all types of places. You can turn a $1 bill into a $5 bill, or you could turn it into a $50 bill, like clockwork. And you do this over and over again. And then the next reason is because the money you earn from selling these books is going to snowball, and it's going to snowball really fast. And what you're going to be able to do is reinvest some of that money into other opportunities like retail arbitrage. And that's why, Paul's course was so instrumental to this entire thing. Because when you sell on Amazon FBA, you have access to sell everything. So if you go to even a tag sale, I mean, silly things like this, but again, me and my wife, we go to just tag sales. We dedicate like 3 hours, let's say, on a Saturday. We get up early, 8 in the morning, and then we be home by, noon. And, we would find all kinds of stuff. We would find old audio cassettes, like weird stuff, like stuff that's kind of dated, but you look that stuff up on Amazon and it will blow your mind. And we'll come home with, we'll say maybe $500 in profit on the tapes, but then we'll make another $600-700 and all kinds of other stuff, video games, CDs, electronics, all that kind of stuff that we bought from the tag sales too, because again, Amazon FBA is, you could sell all kinds of stuff, so it's not limited to just books. So that's the other reason it's really smart selling the used books, because there is no faster way that I've found to turn a small amount of money into a really, really large amount of money that quickly. So,
Hey,
yeah,
Jim,
yeah,
can you explain to people what a tag sale is?
a tag sale, yeah, just like a garage sale, like when people have, when they sell their used stuff, you see them in the newspaper, you see signs when you're driving down the road, it says tag sale, garage sale, and then you drive by and people have a couple tables up and they've got books, they've got board games, they've got electronics. Some people clean out their
Awesome.
houses. Yeah.
Cool. Couple people were asking. Someone said you must be from Connecticut.
Oh, actually, I am from Connecticut. Um, but yeah, so your phone plus the right knowledge is a recipe for cash, and that's what I'm trying to get through here is that on your phone you can store the entire Amazon database of every single product. So you can find out instantly if a book can make you money. And this is really important because when I first started this, I would go to book sales, they'd be in a basement or something, and I could not get reception. So if you're scanning books or items and you have to get online for every single one, you're going to be dead in the water for a lot of different places you go to. But when you have the right software and you set everything up right, you have all that on the phone itself, and it's great, right? So as long as you know what you're doing and you have that phone with you and you have that software, no matter where you are, you can make money. And I've proven that time and time again, and so have countless other people. And then I say here, if your phone dies, you have a problem. So you always got to carry a spare, rechargeable battery pack because, that phone is your lifeline, right? And luckily the software does work on iPhone or Android. I prefer Android, but it really doesn't make a huge difference. So there's other benefits to this model too. So, I'm not telling you not to work hard or anything like that. But like I said, me and my wife, we would go to things like the book sales and we'd make 4,000 in profit. So what we would do though, is we would go and let's say we spent like the $200, but it would only take like 4 hours. Like we didn't have to be there the whole day because with these devices, you can scan hundreds of books like very quickly. So even if a sale had 50,000 books, we would be out of there in like 3-4 hours. And we would take the whole day off. I mean, we would take almost the whole week off because we know we had made so much money that we didn't have to work the rest of the week. And sometimes, that it's that freedom that, when you make enough money and you do things the right way, you could say, you know what, I don't want to work the rest of the week because for whatever reason, you want to take some time off, you want to do whatever it is you want to do. And you can do that. but you have to do it, you have to do it smart, you have to do it the right way. And the other thing is once you find some solid sources of books that come to you, you could be set for years. So if you find a couple really good sources of really good high quality books, that could earn you upwards of $20,000 to $50,000 a year for one or two sources. You multiply that times five and you have a very profitable business. And then the other reason is that it gives back what you put into it. Okay, so a regular job's going to pay out the same every week, no matter what. That's a totally different ball game. With this, you control your destiny here, and it's a proven model. So if you really want to bust your ass one week and you want to work 80 hours and you put in the time, that time will pay off, as opposed to working a normal job where you know what you're going to get every week. You sure you have that security, but a lot of people are just they barely have enough money just to get by. So that's why this is such a great opportunity. And then there's also some things you should know though, and I really want to make this clear because I've seen a lot of internet marketing products. I've seen a lot of products in general that they just don't deliver, on their promises. And that's one of the reasons that I like Paul is that, he's always promoting stuff that works. He has countless people that have been successful and really made money off of whether it's his products or whether it's people that, he promotes. So I really want to make this clear right now that, if you think this is going to be something where you like click a button and, thousands of dollars pour into your bank account, you're going to be real disappointed. So this is not going to work unless you go out and you really put the time in. So starting a business can be hard work, right? But Book Selling 101, which is the information product that I put together, it's 18 months of my hard work, toughing things out in the beginning, learning the best and most efficient methods, all of the sourcing techniques and places I found, the pricing methods, pricing things right, and it's all in one place, right? So, this information will decrease your learning curve by, potentially years. I've had people who've been selling books for years, invest in the course. They came back to me thanking me up and down because some of the techniques that were in it, and they were doing things very inefficiently, and they didn't even realize it until they saw some of my videos. And you don't know what you don't know, and that's the best way I can explain it. So what is Book Selling 101? Okay, so Book Selling 101, it's a course I put together, and it took a long time. This is like about 6 to 9 months of work. It's not an ebook, okay? So it's 39 videos, and it has over 10 hours of content in it. It's a complete blueprint on how to make money selling used books on Amazon FBA. This is all going the Amazon FBA route, guys, right? The whole point is to go down the path of least resistance. You don't want to be fulfilling hundreds of books out of your house and, have to fill up, 5, 6 rooms with books stacked to the ceiling. I've had as many as, 9,000 books at one time stored in the Amazon warehouse. I can't even picture what that would have looked like in my own house. So this is all teaching you how to do this the FBA way, which I feel is the best way to do it. Now also, as you may know, Amazon makes changes sometimes. So I'm going to do new videos. Whenever Amazon makes a change, I'm actually going to update this same course. I'm not going to charge you more. There's no subscription fee. There's nothing like that. You pay once, and I'm going to add these videos when changes are made, and it's going to go over what I'm personally doing, because remember, this is how I make money, right? The course is something that I originally made this for my YouTube subscribers because they were asking me for information that I just didn't want to give to the public. Because I'll be honest with you, if some of this stuff, if I put some of this information, like the real details of it, like on my YouTube channel, for instance, it wouldn't be good. It would not be good for the market as a whole. So, that's why I made this to begin with. So this is how I make money. So I want to make that, very clear. So when changes are made by Amazon, I adapt, and I'm going to show you guys how I adapted so that you can make the same change. It's also a partnership with someone who's, well respected in this end of the business. And I'm also here to help you with any problems or questions. I usually respond to emails the same day. And of course, it's a solid collection of information, and it has one of the lowest refund rates of any information-based product on the market. And it's not by accident. It's because the information simply works. And so I want to get into some of the specifics of what you get. So the first section is fundamentals. So there's 22 videos, and this goes over the core concepts of the business model, and it's laid out in an easy to understand way. So every fundamental of selling used books on FBA is covered here. Buy triggers, which buy triggers basically means you scan a book like a barcode, and it'll come up on the phone, buy or reject. So it'll tell you right away, is it good or is it not good, as opposed to looking at the data, having to make a decision and go through all these steps. Buy triggers means you set up certain criteria that you know will make you money. You scan the book, it lights up green, says buy, or it lights up red. So that's what buy triggers are. I have all the information for that. I have the tools that you're going to need. Condition notes, so as far as how to grade your books, because books come in different conditions. Used books, they could have water damage, they could be torn, they could have highlighting. All that stuff makes a difference as far as how you grade the books, and how to get started as a brand new seller. So if you're brand new to this, this is great. And it also goes over managing your feedback. So when you're a brand new seller, you don't have any feedback yet. You don't have a track record. I go into how to kind of combat that and get past that. The second section is about sourcing. So when I say sourcing, all I really mean is where to find the books, right? So, these videos go over some of the best places I've ever found to actually find, the books that have the most potential for profit. And I hold nothing back in this section. I go over a lot of sourcing spots in this set of videos that even veteran booksellers have never even thought about before. And the third section is pricing. So this is one of the most important things. So these videos explain how to price your books right. So if you price the books too high, they're just going to sit in the warehouse and they're not going to sell. If you price it too low, you're never going to make enough profit. So this section kind of goes over how to balance the two and how to price your books the right way. I even cover repricing, and repricing is an advanced technique. So let me kind of explain what that is. So let's say you send a book in, you price it at 20 bucks. Well, let's say 30 days down the line, Sally sends in the same book, same condition, and she prices hers at $16, right? Who's going to get that sale? She is, right? But not if you reprice. So there's actually software out there that will go out there and it will, canvas the marketplace, and it'll see, okay, who's selling what for what price, and it'll compare your price against theirs. And based on certain settings that you apply, it'll make that change. So if I don't mind to lose $3 or $4, let's say, to make a sale and undercut Sally, for example, I can set my repricer to do that, and then 3 hours later I get a sale. Hers is still sitting there, potentially for months. So it's a very advanced technique, but man, I made some settings that increased my sell-through rate by a huge percentage rate. So this is a really, really valuable part of the course. And a lot of people have told me that this section by itself was worth the entire price of the course. And yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it. Like I said, I wanted this to be kind of quick. I did want to be able to cover any questions people might have. The link is pauljames.com/bookselling101. The price is only $97. I want it to be affordable because the whole business model is based on buying low and selling high, right? So I didn't think it'd be right to come try to charge $1,000 for it. So that's the price I have it set at. But there's a timer on it. I'm not going to sell this for, 3, 6 months down the line and then have the market get saturated. That's not going to help me. That's not going to help you, especially when I'm still making money off of this. So this is available until Friday at midnight. So tomorrow at midnight it comes down. I have a 14-day money back on it. And yeah, so if you have any questions, let me know in the chat box, and I'll try to cover some of the questions and give you guys some answers here.
Let's
And Paul,
also
if you
let's also tell them about the bonus that we're gonna do as well.
Oh, right. Yeah, so if me and Paul were talking, and what we decided to do was for anybody that purchases in the next 30 minutes, what we're going to give those people is Paul's course, Easy Retail Jackpots, and that's the course that I started with. So if you purchase in the next 30 minutes, you get Book Selling 101, but you get what I find to be the perfect complement to that course, which is Easy Retail Jackpots. So you're going to get the best of both worlds here, and it's a huge value for you guys. I mean, honestly, if I had access to this 18 months ago, it would have made my life so much easier. So it's a great course. I know you guys are going to love both of them.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. It's just such an awesome low barrier to entry business model. So I've gathered a list of questions that I saw coming up, and then I see some other ones coming in. One of the common ones that I saw coming up though was people were wondering, what's the actual startup cost, to get the software for the phone and stuff like that. For someone to realistically go out there, today and start scanning books, what is this going to cost them after they purchase the course?
Okay, so yeah, let me cover that. So there's the really super cheap way to do it that you can do. It will work technically, but if you really want to make money and do this the right way, you're going to want to pull your hair out. And I don't even teach that way in the course because it's not a good way to do it. And then there's the normal way to do it, which is the right software, the right listing software, and all that. So Amazon FBA professional seller account is $39.99 a month. You can list an unlimited number of items through it. So that's $40, but I believe you get the first month for free. So if you just want to try it out, the first month, I believe you get they don't charge you. Then there's a couple more fees, but they're really not that bad. The software is $30 a month. And this isn't my software, so I'm not making any money off of this stuff, but it's just stuff that you need to do it right. So $30 for the software, $40 for Amazon Seller Central, professional FBA seller account rather, and then there's a listing software that's like $40 too. And so I mean per month you're looking at the first month you get a lot of it for free, so you don't have to pay as much. But every month after that, so maybe, I don't know, maybe between like $100, $110 a month. Um, but it's
Awesome.
like, yeah, it's just the cost of doing business. I mean, guys, if you guys aren't, to be honest, and this is not to be mean or anything, but if you're not willing to, put $100 down, you might as well just forget the whole thing, and forget being an entrepreneur to begin with. Because, $100 a month is a very low amount of money to start a business. Wouldn't you agree, Paul?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just such a low barrier to entry. I mean, there's just the overhead for doing something like this is ridiculously low, and that's something
Right.
that they're going to make back, within the first month,
Yeah,
easily.
exactly.
Awesome. Can you do this from any country?
Okay, so um, Amazon FBA, I believe, I know they started it in the United States. They've expanded to Europe. So there are European FBA warehouses that you can sell on. So that's one opportunity that you can do if you live in another country. The other thing that you can do, but it would require, the only thing it requires if you want to sell in the US and you're in another country is a bank account out of the US. So as long as you can get somebody that has a bank account in the US and you can sell, you could ship all your stuff to what's called a prep center. So let's say you have, 500 books, you want to send them, and you want to sell them on Amazon.com. You would send it to a prep center in the U.S. The prep center would charge about $1 per book to prepare each book, and they would send it all to the warehouse for you. And I can recommend a couple of those services, and they're really great services. They help a lot of people out. And so let's say you live in another country, right? And let's say in the U.S. you normally sell a book for $10. And that's your floor. That's your minimum price. If you live in another country, you just got to find out what your shipping costs are going to be. And let's say maybe you only sell books for $15 and up, or $20 and up. But you can do it. I mean, absolutely. You absolutely can sell if you're from another country.
Awesome. Um, I see another one that's coming up a lot is, are books expensive to ship into Amazon?
Actually, it's really not that bad. The reason why it's not that bad is Amazon has partnered rates with UPS. So, as you can imagine, if you're UPS and Amazon comes to you and they say, look, we want to use your shipping service for all of our sellers in the entire country, but we need the rates to be competitive, and you will get all the business from Amazon and your UPS, you can imagine you probably get the best rate possible. And that's what happened. They negotiated a deal with UPS. It's really really competitive. I think 20 cents a pound on average is what I would pay. So at the end of the day, it's almost a negligible cost because the cost of the books are so low. The shipping cost it's very low. It's the cost of doing business, and there's actually something called LTL shipping, less than truckload shipping. So let's say you have like 500 books, you have a bunch of books, right? And it's pretty heavy. You can put that on a pallet, shrink wrap it up, and there's UPS Freight and other freight companies, and they'll do it for like 9 cents a pound. And I actually have a video that explains how to do LTL shipping in the course too. So that's another great option.
Awesome.
You're breaking up.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know, your mic is cutting out or something. Still there?
I'm there. Are you there?
Oh, there we go. Okay. I
Okay.
think I think I think you're back now.
Okay. If I cut out, just go and look through the question box, Jim, and feel free to answer the question. I think it's my internet connection here. But what I was saying, for those of you guys who are in other countries, you can Google on FBA and look at what countries they accept just by Googling it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, I'm just looking through the questions here.
I've seen another one that said, can you source books online?
Yeah, so you can source books online, and I actually have 3 bonus videos in the course I actually didn't go over here. There's software where you can source online and then, sell on FBA. One of those pieces of software is actually based on, buying books, let's say, from Amazon itself, actually, but you buy from the merchant fulfilled sellers, so the non-FBA sellers, who are usually cheaper. And it's based on like buying textbooks for, lower amount and reselling it. There is money to be made there, and I do have a video, a bonus video in the course on it. But it's not the focus of the course. And honestly, I don't think it should be anybody's focus starting out because the returns are just nowhere near as good, right? I mean, when we're talking about spending $2, $3 and turning it into $70, $80 for a textbook, let's say, if you do what you're talking about, doing it online, now we're talking about more like, buy it for $20, $30, sell it for $70, $80, something like that. Where I mean, you make money, sure, but it's nothing like, the kind of stuff I'm teaching in the course, which is really taking advantage of local sources. That's where you're going to make the most money.
Awesome. Does this work for books other than textbooks?
Yeah, so I think that was actually a typo in the email. So this works for all kinds of books. This is not just textbooks. Textbooks definitely have value, and some of them are worth more than others. But no, this is for everything. This is not just textbooks.
Cool. I see people asking about how they can get the bonus, and I just want to let them know that the bonus is available instantly inside of JVZoo after you order. So if you go on your order access page inside of JVZoo, you'll see my bonus right in there. I'm just
Let's
looking
go
through more
there.
questions. If you see
Yeah, me
anything,
too.
feel free to shout it out.
All right, someone asked if the software is included. I mean, the software is not included in the course. I do give a code you can use to get a little bit of a discount on the phone, or not the phone, the software for the phone. So I do have a link for that in the course. Someone said I have an iPhone 7, so you can use the application with an iPhone. I prefer to use Android, but if you want to use iPhone, you could. How do you know how to price books if it's an old but valuable book? So, I mean, pretty much all books are going to be listed online somewhere. Some of them are on, a book, some of them are on, different places, but even the old books, you could find a general price for it. So, even the older books, the bottom line is like the super old books, they can have value, but if it's your mindset that, like antiques, that, the old books, that's where the money is, it's actually really not the case. The old books have the same chance as any other book to have value. So I wouldn't go down that line of thinking. It's pretty much, you don't really want to focus on the old stuff. Can I use this course methods to sell other products? Yes, you can. And I mean, that's what's so good about, the offer we're presenting now with Paul's, easy retail jackpots with Book Selling 101. I mean, you guys are going to have as much knowledge as you can handle. Trust me. This stuff is going to blow your mind. I mean, if you actually apply this stuff, um, you can make some seriously good money. So yeah, you can use this to sell anything. I've sold digital cameras. I've sold all kinds of stuff. During Christmas, I sold Hatchimals. That mini Nintendo that came out, I made a killing on that. I bought that for like 50. I think we sold like five of them. We sold them for like 250 a piece. And how to do all that, it's all the same information. Paul's course is going to teach you a lot about that. Um, how much can you possibly make per week just working part-time? Let's say I can't see the rest of that, but I'm assuming maybe it's like 3 hours a day or 3 days or something. Um,
If you
yeah,
click on it,
so,
you should be able to see the whole thing. I don't know.
oh, yep, you're right. Okay, how much can you make working part-time just 3 days per week, full-time? You can make a lot. Yeah, I mean, you can make a lot, but Um, I mean, I wouldn't expect to make, something unreasonable. Like you're not going to make like $5,000 a week, but part-time, yeah, this is great for people like let's say you already have a job, you just kind of want to dabble in it. I mean, you could make a good amount of money. So let's say, okay, so you're saying 3 days per week. If you spent 2 days sourcing, and you're saying full time, that's 8 hours. 8 hours is a long time. If you go to the right sources, you kind of scope it out, you could make, if you know what you're doing and you're applying all the concepts, I would say you could make $2,000, $3,000 in a week. Especially things like book sales. I would say if you're working part-time, go with the book sales if you can. There's a lot of other methods in the course I go over too. check those out. But yeah, you can make good money, even part-time. You don't have to spend 80 hours a week to make good money with this. Okay, does the software scan for other products or just books? The software scans for everything. Yeah, you can download a database of all the products on the Amazon catalog with the software. Does it take a lot of time to list all the books one by one? That's a great question. And remember how I was saying before that there is a cheap way to do it where you spend like nothing and you use Amazon Seller Central to list and you do it that way. Or you just spend the $40 a month and then you don't have to pull your hair out of your head. So there's a program that you can list with, and it's a really great program. Not only is it a great workflow where you can list like 70, 80 books an hour. So not only can you list that fast, but it also has accounting features. So you can put in your cost of goods, you can put in your mileage, all that stuff, and it'll track all that. So at the end of the year, let's say you want to do your taxes or whatever, you could print out all that stuff you put in there, hand it to your accountant, for example. And I've heard of people that, they just hand just the information from that listing program to their accountant, and then, that's all they need. Like the accountant says, oh, this has everything, and that's it. And it can make, things like doing your taxes that easy. Um, so it's a great software. Let's see. Did you say you can use an iPhone or can't? You can. Windows Phone, does the software work on a Windows Phone? You can't use a Windows Phone, no. Has to be Android or iPhone. Are certain types of books more popular? Absolutely, absolutely. The course goes over all that too. In general, it's nonfiction books, but yeah, the course goes over, the specifics. There's definitely different genres of books that sell better than others. I've actually kept track of that, and there's definitely some that are way above the rest. Someone said, "Is that Zen arbitrage?" Zen arbitrage? No, this is not Zen arbitrage. That's a software where you resell books online, and honestly, it's not that good of a software in my opinion. I actually have a video on YouTube all about that. If you look up Jim Pickens on YouTube, you'll see that video. How much of the sale does Amazon take? So that depends on, the price of the book, right? So let's say you sold a book for $20. You might get $12 to $13 or $12 to $14, let's say, in profit. But at the same time, you only spent, 50 cents to a dollar or two on that book. So what's the return on investment? It's like 600%, right? It's crazy. So it's really not that bad. And the higher the cost of the book, the more you get. So if you sell a book for like $100, you're going to get like, $80 of it as profit. So it's pretty good. And that time that you save for not having to ship out each individual book makes it totally worth it. Do you cover how to find sources that will send books to the U.S. in the course? Well, if you would have to be the one that sends the books to the U.S. So what I was talking about is they're called prep centers. So I can give you a name of one right now. There's one called Texas PPS. Texas Pack and Prep Pack and Ship. They do that kind of thing. So you would have to send it to them, and then they would send it, to the warehouse. I think how will this work in the UK? So, I mean, it's basically the same type of deal like I was talking about before. As far as if you live in different marketplaces, Amazon has a page as far as European selling European. I would check that out. Um, you would have to use a different. The only thing is you would have to use a different listing software if you're not in the US, but everything else is the same. You know, all the other information in the course is going to apply. You know, the only thing different would be the listing software, but everything else is the same. Just got here. Will this be recorded for later viewing? Paul, I think you're going to do a replay on this, right?
Yeah, as soon as we get off here, I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel, and I'll also send out an email as well. But just keep an eye on my YouTube channel.
Is Easy Retail Jackpot still for sale? I don't know for sure, but Paul, I think you took that off the market, right? They can only get that through this offer, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's not for sale. So this is the only way you can get that, and we wanted to make that available to you as well because it complements this offer so well. For those of you guys who don't know, Easy Retail Jackpot's what it was, and it's gone through some name changes too. So it's got a couple different names out there, but it's not for sale anywhere. You cannot buy it. But basically, it was a documentation of my first 30 days selling on Amazon FBA. And what I did was I went out with a video camera and we logged stuff into an ebook as well, and just documented my first 30 days as a total newbie, never sold on Amazon before, and basically my first 30 days I made over like 6 grand that first month, and just as a total beginner, like not knowing what I was doing, and I documented it, put everything into it, how I did it, and it's been nuts, and it goes to show the barrier to entry is just so low. I mean, Jim took it and did the exact same thing. Was on track to do 6 figures within 6 months, and he picked up on selling books and put his own twist on it. So you can do both. Like Jim was saying, and I can corroborate this, is that during Christmas time, man, you can make a lot of money selling stuff using the retail arbitrage, and things just pick up during that quarter. So you may decide to sell books throughout the entire year, and then when October rolls around, quarter 4, you get into selling other stuff for Christmas. You can just kill it. I mean, you make 20, 30 grand sometimes during those months because it's just a ton of money.
Yeah.
With people are
Yeah.
buying Christmas presents and after Christmas sales, and it just goes nuts during that time of year. So you really make a lot of money.
Yeah, guys, don't underestimate the retail arbitrage part of it too. So that Easy Retail Jackpots program, that's a kick-ass program, man. It's really great, and the fact that Paul's throwing it in for free, that's a great bonus. Yeah, quarter 4 is great. So actually, what I do, just to give you guys a little bit of an inside piece of information on what I actually do, I sell books for like 10, 11 months out of the year. And then end of November, December, I do retail arbitrage, which is what Paul's thing teaches. I did like 35,000 in profit in 2016, just from quarter 4. Reselling things from Target, things like that. So this is quite a marriage of information products, and they just go so well together. So I know
Yeah.
anybody that purchases it will be, super happy with it.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are going to be well taken care of with both of these courses that you're getting because they just dovetail so nicely together, and they're both, this isn't like theory, like Jim and I, we're really out there doing this stuff. Like you go through Jim's course and you're going to see a guy who's out there actually doing this stuff. It's almost like watching a reality TV show. And it's just so killer. I mean, the cool part about this is like you don't have to block out much time. Like you can be out and about and decide, oh, hey, we're going to stop off at this garage sale that we see, or tag sale as they call it in Connecticut. I guess that must be a Connecticut thing, Jim. Someone was pointing out in the chat box.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought everybody called it a text.
I guess not. I guess that's where the confusion was coming in from. But I mean, what I'm saying is that you could just be out and about, right? And you go on about your day. Maybe you're going to the grocery store and you see a garage sale or tag sale. You can swing in there and make a few $100. It's just awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, so it looks like the questions are kind of slowing down here. Oh yeah, guys. So for the people that who are deciding to invest in this, um, just so you know that, once you purchase, what's going to happen is you're going to get a login for JVZoo, and that's where you can access Paul's course. But to access, the Book Selling 101 course, you're going to get an email from bookselling101.com, and you're going to have to register a username. So look out for that email. You're going to register your own username and password, and you're going to use that to access the book selling course. So just be aware of that. It's not like you get an email and it has your credentials. You're going to get an email where you have to register, create a username, your own username, and then log in with that.
Awesome. Well, if there's not any other questions, we can go ahead and wrap up and get the replay out unless you see anything else jumping out at you.
No, I think we're all set here.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone again for attending today. I hope that you got a lot of value out of this, and I really want to thank Jim. I mean, you brought the value today, and I can just see a lot of lives being changed after people go through this and take action. And I just thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like I said, your course got me started, so figured this was the right thing to do.
Awesome. Yeah, it's like full circle. It's really killer.
Definitely.
All right, guys. Well, take care, and we'll talk soon.
All right. See you guys.